No, chasing isn't pooping. Can you guys hear me? My little bubble thing's not moving. Ah! Can you hear me? Hello, hello. Okay. Hello, best friends. No. No, I wasn't. I would tell you if I was taking a dump. I totally would. I have no shame. Hello, Izzy, sister Callie, best friend Texas Kim, best friend Libby, best friend Lion Mama 777. But oh, Izzy's best friend too. What the hell? We'll go ahead and best friend can apply to Raylan, best friend Catlin, best friend Yeah Mom, internet husband Freeside, Tennessee Rose, best friend Queen Ashley, best friend Scotty, best friend Honey Bunny. Let's see. Yeah, that's where we're at so far. So, hello, best friend Manchester Vicky, best friend Brainworms. Hello, Susie Hugh. Hello, Dark Angel. I'm so happy to have all of my best friends here. I like hanging out with my best friends. Hung out with my best friend Texas Kim a couple of weekends ago, and it was awesome. I introduced her to takeout daiquiris. I think I told you guys that already, but yeah, it was great. We're going to do it again. Hello, Kels. So I had this little shindig scheduled for yesterday, but like everybody was live, and I'm really good at procrastinating. So with a million people being live, and then plus yesterday was Mini Me's birthday. The day before that was my other daughter's birthday. Today, yes, Line Mama, I can see you. Hello, best friend. Hello, Jamie, Janica, everybody else coming in. Today's actually my dad's birthday, but he is no longer with us. So, happy birthday in heaven, Daddy. Well, I hope everyone had an amazing weekend and you got to spend some time with your best friends. Friendship is so important. And apparently, there's other things that are important to a lot of other people. Hello, best friend Spicy. Curious idea. So, same old bullshit going on, like nothing new. What do we expect? Blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, it is stuff worth mentioning, worth talking about, because a few days ago, let's just back it up a second because I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. So, I had originally planned that the next time I went live, I was going to address Griff and Tina the Tooth. But they've been kind of put on the back burner because I can make fun of them anytime. There's more pressing issues. So a few days ago, I went into a chat because one of my best friends was getting struck every 5 minutes. It was ridiculous. And so someone had set up a live, and I thought they were going to address being text bombed and call bombed and all that stuff. I thought that's what the topic was going to be. Little did I know it was going to be about some doxing that allegedly happened. So I don't know, I was spicy that morning. So I popped in that chat and I made the comment and I said, well, when you combine the alleged doxing with the harassment, it's pretty foul. And that's true. It is pretty foul. that crap shouldn't be happening. I'll explain how I feel about striking people. Um, but everyone in that chat took it as I was saying, yes, this doxing really happened. I've seen it. I know it to be true. And that's just not the case. That is not what my comment said or meant. So the person in question, Katie, had said that she got a bunch of messages saying that Bird was doxing Elle Kennedy. Okay, well, if I were getting a bunch of messages from people telling me something, those would be the people that I would ask for proof, right? They're bringing it to me. They're telling me that this happened. So wouldn't they have the proof or be able to direct her where to find it? Apparently not, because that chat came unglued. They were livid with me. They were so cranky with me. And I wasn't there to start trouble. Even if I'm just listening to someone and they're not one of my favorite people, or I just don't really have a relationship with them, if I have a correction or a piece of information or I know something, I will speak up and correct it in the chat. But I should have known better than to do it in a chat that's always screaming, we're not going to be hate bonding, because that's literally what they did. That's what they did to me, in fact, on a very minor level. I mean, people were just like, well, Chasing should show the proof or it didn't happen. She's the one that came in here and started all this. No, ma'am. The people who started it are the people that sent Katie messages saying that Elle Kennedy had been doxxed, not me. And I did have proof that she had been receiving texts and calls and emails and everything else. They just weren't very nice. They weren't of friendly nature. They were basically like, this is the way we're going to do it. So shut up or put up, or put up or shut up, whatever. It wasn't friendly. It wasn't a friendly exchange. So I was like, whatever, and people started trying to call me out. And then I was put on the spot. She's like, okay, well, I'm going to ask you a question. And don't do like this other person did. Don't puss out on me. I guess she thought I wasn't going to answer the question. But the question was, so with so-and-so saying that I'm sleeping with a 14-year-old boy and whatever else, I don't even know what was supposedly said. Do you consider that slander? And I replied, which I probably should have said this because of course it got twisted up. I simply said, well, yeah, if it's not true, it definitely is. So then someone made the comment and says, oh, so if it is true, then it's not slander. Okay, got it. Come on now. That's not what I meant. That's a completely different scenario. Yes, even if something's true, it can still be slanderous. So I felt compelled to post on my community wall the definition of slander and libel and all of that, because apparently there's lawsuits that are going to be happening because money has been lost. I think like $10,000. Let me just give you a brief rundown about how that works. If you're going to claim a loss of income, especially over something like social media, like on our level, right? Like, we're not celebrities. I don't care how many times people say, well, you're on the internet, you're a public figure, you just have to take whatever comes at you. No, because we're still people and we still have basic human rights to privacy and things like that. So when you're going to file a lawsuit, first of all, over YouTube type stuff, it's going to take a pretty major event to even get an attorney to take on this case. You might find a hole in the wall attorney who either is just starting out and needs to make a name for themselves or drum up some business, or someone who is just proficient in writing cease and desist and little things like that that you can basically wipe your ass with. Um, they're just not going to be interested because it's very, very hard to get through one of those cases and actually get the outcome that you're hoping for. If you're going to go and say, I've lost this much money because this person is saying or doing this about me, you're going to have all your ducks in a row to back that shit up. You are going to have to be able to prove that clients or, whoever, whatever type of work you do, refused or rejected your bid because of this specific reason. No, Elle Kennedy does not pick on certain people. Elle Kennedy, if you go and you look at the history of her channel, you will see that she does just like every other clip channel, and she clips what is currently going on. And she does it in a very good way. And I can tell you that I've been watching Elle Kennedy for quite some time, and she has gotten really good. You can see the progression of her work, like the evolution of it. She most people think that it's just a bunch of random clips thrown together to look a certain way, but 9 times out of 10, they are clips and they're presented in a chronological type way. They're pieced together so that you can get the whole idea from beginning to end of how a situation unfolded without having to watch 10 or 12 hours worth of live streams. She's going to clip the parts that stand out, not just to her, but if you take a consensus, you'll see that those parts stood out to many other people too. And the people that were striking her so many times, just as recent as like a month ago, were saying, clip this, Elle Kennedy, clip this. Elle Kennedy, come clip this, ma'am. But then when she clips it, they like spend every waking moment striking her. And I don't know where everything's at with those. I think that so far, she's been able to fight them all. She does like rework everything. She adds her own. What's the word I'm looking for, you guys? I'm having a brain fart. Y'all know what I mean. She changes it up. Like she uses the little cartoon thing and blah blah blah, and it's just she's not just recording someone and sticking it up there. Yeah, that's not true, Marga. I can assure you. Just go back and look at her channel and you'll see, like, when Ernie was the main topic, there's a lot of stuff on Ernie. If ATIL was a hot topic at the time, there's stuff on her. I mean, that's just how it goes. So right now, this is like the main drama, right? Everyone's focused on Jimbo in the stand and how many times a day he wipes his butt and what he did 75 years ago and what his great grandparents did and what he ate for dinner 3 weeks ago. So, yeah. So in that chat, everyone was getting mad at me. They were saying that I came in there and stirred up shit and just left. And they were like, oh, how convenient. Chasing isn't here anymore. No, Chasing was sitting right there, taking it all in, reading all the bullshit. So you had people in there like Tina Simmerly, better known as Holistic Empire or Hempire. Um, and it turned into everything but. And the thing is I went in there to make a comment about the situation going on with LK Kennedy. But of course, the question that I got asked was about Jimbo. You can't ever have one situation without someone saying, well, what do you think about this? Or Jimbo did that. And blah, blah, blah. Okay, but that's not what we're talking about. That's not what the title was about. And I know it was just a random question, but let's stay on topic. Oh, there's another channel. That's the thing. That's what I've kind of watched is that they do go after channels like that. And, it's not because they're not doing this for any other reason other than to just say, hey, I got her channel taken down or I got his channel taken. Bitch, you already have your own channel. Why are you trying to collect them? It's not like El Kennedy is giving a boisterous opinion about anything. She's literally just clipping your work, the work that all of you put out, and condensing it down basically. So throughout the chat, and I just grabbed like a few comments, of course the chat went on about Jimbo. It always does, right? So someone had said that Nicolina paid for the hotel room because they got caught with the dog that they were going to sell to take on the trip, or that they needed to fund the trip. Really? That little 5-pound dog they were going to sell when they have a whole yard full of expensive dogs? And then someone said, I bet they got the hotel room because they're going to go pick Kemper up to go to Ernie's court date. This is how shit gets started, right? They wanted me to bring facts and receipts and proof that El Kennedy was doxxed, but all these people making these random comments in the chat weren't asked for proof. They said that you paid for Jimbo's hotel room, which I hadn't heard anything about that, but whatever. And I'm assuming that the trip they're talking about is when they went to go watch Molly in the band competition, right? That's what I'm thinking. That's the only trip I knew of. And it was also like stressed when she asked me this question. She's like, let me ask you this because you're part of the stand. You're one of his mods. Like it's a big deal. So what? Yes, I'm one of Jimbo's mods. I have been for a few months now. I've been in the Discord for a little over a year now. Um, but that doesn't really have anything to do with anything. I still don't know every move that's made over there. And I don't know all the ins and outs and the behind the scenes stuff. Why do I not know all of that? Because I don't want to. I know it as much as I need to know. And if there's anything else I feel like I need to know, I will go straight to Jimbo and ask him. I'm not going to pussyfoot around anything or try to piece stuff together or connect dots when I really don't have a clue. So from there, we had someone who we all know who used to be in that Discord, and they were talking about the breakdown of the Stan family and all of that. And this person said, family my ass, I was in Discord until I was thrown out. Ma'am, why don't you tell the whole story of what the problem was? Queen Ashley knows. Is when a whole bunch of people exited, Sage left. That was JP Fluff made that comment. And I don't really remember if she was thrown out. She may have been, but I think if she was, the person who booted her isn't even part of that Discord anymore. But it wasn't, she didn't just get thrown out of the blue, if that's what happened. She may have left on her own. I don't know. All I know is there was a big fallout over some division yet again with the whole rap situation. So, yeah. But the way she put the comment, she said it in a way that got everyone riled up and just added fuel to the fire because people love that kind of shit. So then moving down the line, someone said they have money to buy puppies, but they're selling other dogs. And then they talked about how crappy that is. Well, here's the thing. They had the money to buy those puppies before this shit happened, right? Then someone, I don't know if it was the same person, selling old dogs, and then we'll use the pups as an ATM when they're old enough. Well, that's typically what happens when people breed dogs, right? They breed them to sell. It's a lucrative business. Nobody has ever complained about the quality of the pups that they have sold that I'm aware of up until now. The only people that seem to have a problem with it are people on YouTube who want to make every move that Jimbo makes into a bad thing. Now, don't get it twisted. This is not me up here saying that Jimbo can do no wrong and he's perfect and blah, blah. None of us are perfect. And Jimbo has done wrong. But if I have an issue with something that he has done, it's not going to do a damn bit of good to go complaining to everyone else around here. I'm going to take it to him. Just like when I wanted to give my opinion about his marriage 30 something years ago. I told the person that should hear it, the person that needs to hear it. And then that's it. That's the end of it. I don't need to keep talking about it and rehashing it. This shit has gone on so long, and you've had so many new people come into the mix now who don't really have a good idea of the history, and they're being jaded. You guys are like, you're painting the picture for them of a picture that's already been painted. So from there, this is where Tina the Tooth pops in. And it's so random. She says, predators often use teddy bears and puppies to lure kids. What? We all know that. We've all seen To Catch a Predator. We've all seen the Stranger Danger after school specials. Yes, Nicolina, I looked that up yesterday because someone had said that you can't register a Rottweiler because they're mutts. And that's exactly what I found when I looked it up, is that Rottweilers were added to the stud book in 1931. So before you go making a comment in a chat that is supposed to just be actual factual, you need to make sure you have your actual factual information correct, because they can be registered. And then someone wanted to criticize like the fact that Jimbo was short on some money. Well, it's understandable that they were struggling a little bit because they just bought 2 puppies. They had Molly's band trip going on, and then all this crap thrown down on top of them. And I know that none of those people want to take any of that into consideration because it's easier and it's more fun and it makes them feel better about themselves to sit up there and talk about the fact that he was willing to sell some of his personal items to raise money. Did people donate without getting anything returned? Absolutely. Because Jimbo has best friends like that. Jimbo has people that have been with him for a while that care. And you know what? A lot of those people would do it for me. They would do it for Nicolina. They would do it for almost any of us who weren't assholes. So they said there's a thing called savings. That's just a bad or a walking bad decision. Let's talk a little bit about savings. Not everybody has the luxury of being able to put a lot of money into savings each week. I imagine that the majority of people are living paycheck to paycheck. That's just the times we live in. A lot of people are lucky if they have $100 in savings. You know that rule about how you should have at least 6 months worth of expenses in a savings account in case something happens. That's what they taught me in school, right? Yeah, that's not the case anymore. The average person does not make enough money to be able to put 6 months worth of expenses into a savings account, especially if it's a one income household. I mean, that's just some cold, hard facts about the world we live in today. So before you go judging, saying, well, they need to do savings. Well, how much money do you have in your savings account? Would you be able to handle like something like that all on your own without having to reach out to friends or family in any way? It's unfortunate. But here's the thing. None of you have to let it bother you. You don't have to care what goes on over on that channel. You don't have to care what goes on inside his house or his life or his kids' lives or his life from 30 years ago. It really doesn't have to be any of your business. Would that eliminate some of the aggravation or get rid of some of the bugs up of all your asses? Will that help you out a little bit if maybe you just quit caring so much? And I understand there's some people over there that go in that chat, some channel holders that have issues with some like one-on-one, some tit for tat issues with Jimbo. I get it. Y'all are going to handle it how you see fit. And I even said that in her chat the other day. I was like, look, I don't have anything to do with any of this. I will be supportive of my friends, but if all of you want to rip each other's throats out, go right ahead. And I've said that before. It doesn't mean that I'm taking one side over the other. 9 times out of 10, none of you are going to know whose side I take. Because I don't do all this shit out here for the whole world to see, especially if I actually have any real respect or compassion or even consider you a friend. I'm definitely not going to fight with you out in public. I'm going to respect you enough that if we have issues, we'll deal with that shit one-on-one and then we'll just go on about our business. I don't go out here and throw the shit that I know up in people's faces and, rub their noses in it like bad dog. Enough's enough. Can you imagine? Okay, now they're picking on his early onset dementia. Okay, and some of the people who are laughing and making fun and calling him a liar and all that stuff were actually part of that channel, like a year ago when the whole brain fog issue started becoming apparent, when Thelma started getting concerned about the brain fog. They were all sitting over there and they were sympathetic at that point, but now they're not allowed to be. So they're making fun of it. Do all of you realize that stress is one of the number one things that can exacerbate or speed up things like dementia and Alzheimer's. Did y'all know that? I bet you didn't, because you probably didn't research it, just like you didn't research that Rottweilers have been a registered breed since 1931. If you guys can hop on a device and look up people's personal information, or find bad pictures of everyone, or create memes about people, then why can't you get on your device and just take a little initiative and double check some facts? So, I'm 49, and I'm like I used to have a memory like an elephant. I was near photographic. I could remember everything, and I'm still very good at memorizing things. But I do have moments where I'm just like, what the crap? I can't remember. It happens. No, dementia is nothing to joke about. And you know what? Even if you don't believe that he was diagnosed with that, or you don't believe that it's true, can you not keep your opinion to yourself? I understand the whole free speech and this and that, but this is where we start getting into the hate bonding thing. Okay, because this channel where I got these lovely comments from, they really claim that they're not doing any of this hate bonding stuff. Let's talk about hate bonding. Let's just talk about it for a minute, shall we? Sounds like, can you guys hear me? You can't hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay. All right. So I can't go back and read, but I will post links to the articles that I looked up this morning. But the reason people choose to bond together over hate and things like that, the number one reason, the simplest way to put it, is it makes them feel better, whether it's feel better about themselves or feel better in relationships with other people, because they think, okay, well, since me and this person have all these dislikes towards this other person, then that's going to give us a stronger relationship. It's kind of like trauma bonding. People will bond over a trauma. They're both broken and they're looking for something to fill that void. So you take two halves of a person and of two different people, and then you put it together, and then you feel like you're whole again. Yes, it does make them feel justified. But what you have to remember, okay, is YouTube is all fun and games until someone gets hurt. And it's to the point now where, despite the fact that none of you like Jimbo, or none of you like Kimber, or none of you like me, or anyone else over at the stand, there are people getting hurt. It's the freaking holiday season, you guys. I mean, do you really? I keep hearing over and over, well, Bird and Ghost only took that trip for awareness. They weren't going to harass anybody. It was just for awareness. Awareness of what? awareness of the fact that he married a child 30 years ago, we all know. Do you think any of those people that got those flyers lost any sleep the night that they opened their mailbox and that flyer was there? But y'all are all fine, with people losing jobs. You think it's a win. It's a win for you because all the people in the audience stand up and cheer and, yay, you did it. Okay, congratulations. Are you going to be standing up and cheering if the same thing happens to you? He was a child by himself, and everyone keeps going over the definition of a pedophile is okay, we know already. But that wasn't that. And for those of you who have children who are still in school, or for those of you who have had children that have gone through high school, you know that the average age of a freshman is like 13 years old. 14, somewhere around there. Let me think of when I was a freshman. I was 12 in seventh grade. I was 13 in eighth. So, yeah, I was 14 by the time I was a freshman in high school. Now, I was kind of an awkward child. So, I'll be honest, I wasn't having a lot of boyfriends in ninth grade. Plus, I wasn't allowed to. But if you think for 1 second that there aren't 12 and 13-year-old girls out here that are sexually active or that, you know, they have boyfriends who are like 15, 16 years old. Ugh, I lost connection. Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me now, Fluffy? Am I back or no? I don't know what to do. Someone let me know if you can hear me. Okay. So to act like it's just unheard of that a 12 or a 13-year-old girl would have a boyfriend that's much older is just crazy. You are living under a rock and you need to come out of it because it happens more often than you think. Now, let me say this in big flashing red letters. This does not mean that I am saying that it is okay. I don't agree with it. I would not let my daughter just turned 11 yesterday. I would not let my daughter go out with a 17, 16-year-old. But here's the good news. I don't have to agree with what he did 30 years ago. And I don't have to let it affect my personal life. I don't have to lose one wink of sleep over it. I don't even have to remember that it took place on a daily basis because it just doesn't matter in the here and now. So stop acting like, it never happens. And I know that if you don't have children or you've never had to experience anything like that, you might not realize how common it is. But yes, it's very common. And you guys are wanting to put all this blame on his shoulders. I have always been of the opinion that it was the parents, both sets of parents, that should have the majority of the blame on them. Because even at 17 years old, his parents could have said, no way. You're not doing this right now. Her parents should have said, no way. You're not doing this right now. Jimbo knows that everyone should have said, no way. This isn't going to happen right now. But to sit there, Katie, and say, well, would you want to tap that all 500-pound that titty, blah, blah, blah? Is that necessary? Like, you guys take this shit next level, and then you get pissed when someone takes something next level about you. This whole crap about having Polaroids. You all know that was full of shit. That was bullshit. You know it. But y'all will still go call law enforcement and everyone else who will listen and say, well, he's admitted to having naked Polaroids of an underage child. No. It was said because he knew that everyone was going to pluck that out and run with it. And he's right. To this day, everyone's still running with it. And then you say things like, well, for him to even say that is disgusting and it shows what kind of person he is. Well, okay. What does it say about you guys when you say other things that imply that, someone is interested in children? Because you guys say some foul shit too. But to sit up on your pedestals and act like, oh my goodness, how I can't believe these people are so vile. Look what they're doing to me. Look what they're saying about me. There's a rant going on about him right now. I wanted to listen, but I needed to come live because I've already rescheduled a lot. So here we are. Yes, he was responding to a smart ass comment with a smart ass answer. And if someone, I respond in a smart ass way all the time. I'll say stuff intentionally to see if people will take it and run. Because I know how it works around here. And honestly, how would it improve your life if the stand were to shut down today? Give me 3 examples of how the world would be a better place. Oh, someone asked that? Oh, wow. Oh, ew, I hate the smell of Windex. So it always turns into like personal attacks. I mean, not just attacks on him now, right? You're attacking the whole family. And I know that there are people that, like I said, that had one-on-one issues with him and they're going through their own stuff together. They're going to handle it the way they handle it. I don't have to agree with them. I don't have to agree with the way Jimbo handles it. I don't have to agree with the way Kemper does it. I don't have to agree with the way Nicolina does it. And you know what? If it's a big enough issue, then I'll voice my concern to them. But if it's not, I'm not going to say shit. You know why? Because I know how it's going to play out. And I know that no matter what any of the people that I get along with does, the person on the receiving end is probably going to do something just as bad, if not worse. Like I've said many times, all I can do is be here to support my friends if they need me. But don't y'all get tired of talking about this? Does it not get exhausting to have shit, production needs a raise. If they're the ones that are sitting around having to watch every little thing to try to get all this stuff, maybe you need to set guidelines of what comments and stuff you want production to actually pick up on, because a lot of the stuff that I see brought to the forefront is just nonsense. It's smart ass comments that probably aren't researched, that are, they're just twisted and turned. And life is short. Life is really short. And this shit, another thing, while I have it on my mind, and then we'll get back to this because I saw her in here earlier. Making fun of Curious Idea. I've heard that go on a lot lately. I've heard people, criticize her drinking and telling her to go take a drink and saying that she's drunk. And okay, I don't know if she herself has ever said anything about Curious, but the fact that she suffered the same, um Terry the fag Caldwell, I think you need a job. um the fact that she allows people in her chat to say something about it or on her panel, that's kind of gross to me. And this is my opinion. Nobody has to feel the same way that I do. The reason I'm not cool with making fun of people's issues with alcohol or drugs, especially if they're in recovery, is because I'll be damned if I'm going to have to try to live with myself should something I say push them to drink or to use one more time. That's just my opinion. I don't want that on my shoulders. So think about that. Now, don't get me wrong, because I have made fun of, like, my neighbors across the street. They're friggin' tweakers. They do things like wear sombreros at 5 o'clock in the morning. Their power has been out for almost a month, so they run a generator all night long. I've had to call the police on them before. Their house just got raided a couple of months ago. I mean, yes, I call them tweakers and I talk about them like that's what I refer to them as. Yesterday, I was out walking because I walk every day, and there was a syringe laying on the side of the road. I know where it came from. My children walk down that street. My 11-year-old and her friend walk down that street. If there's someone actively using, or if there's someone that is protesting saying, oh no, I've never done this or I've never done that, but they're showing all the behaviors, yeah, in a joking manner, I'll be like, oh, you're staying up all night on YouTube because you're tweaking. We've all said that. But if there is someone that I know for a fact that is trying to do better and get clean or stop drinking and, fight those demons, I'm not going to be the one to make fun of them. I'm not going to be the one to say, go have another drink. And Curious Idea, if you're still listening, I hate that has been done to you, and it's done to you quite often. So just know that my grandfather was an alcoholic. I unfortunately never got to meet him because when he tried to turn his life around, of course, this was many, many years ago, he was put in a sanitarium and he never made it out. His alcohol abuse killed him. So, I had another family member who really struggled with addiction, and it wasn't, luckily, he was able to get his life right before he was hit and killed by a drunk driver. Hopefully, the drunk 17-year-old who hit and killed him has found a way to turn his life around. You have to stop and think that some of the things that come out of your mouth that you say to people Just because you've said them, it's done and over with for you, doesn't mean that it's done and over with for that other person. You don't know how long those words are going to stick with them or affect them, or what they're going to do when they have 50 people saying the same horrible stuff. None of you have to like Jimbo. You don't. None of you have to watch his content, visit his channel. Wouldn't it be easier if you just separated yourself from it? Imagine if, just for a second, clear your head, clear it all out, take a deep breath and exhale just for a second. Think about how much different it would be if you woke up one morning and just said, you know what? I don't care what someone did 30 years ago. I don't even have to have this person be in my life in any capacity. So I am just going to not talk about it anymore. Imagine if you did that and the person that you've been attacking suddenly stops talking about you too. I would think that that would be pretty cool, because you know what that would mean? That would mean that there was just some sort of conflict resolution. You both resolved to just let it go and not talk about each other anymore. I know it's hard to get to that point though, because feelings get hurt, people get angry. Like, I understand wanting to defend yourself, wanting to defend your family. I get it. But things are getting to a dangerous level now. You've got people traveling to other states, even if it's under the guise of awareness. When the hell did YouTube become like that? Because I can tell you, I've been around almost, I don't know, like 3.5 years maybe. Lips, how long have you had a channel? I think that I've been around, yeah, I think you and I started kind of around the same time. Yeah, in the 3.5 years that I've been around, YouTube has gotten out of control, man. You people are crazy. Somehow, luckily, I've managed to not have any crazy, crazy shit done to me. I've gotten nasty emails and I've gotten threats and stuff like that. Hey, telling truth. Maybe you need to clean out one of your ears because you're only hearing half of it. I just got done saying that nobody is innocent. Everyone has done wrong. I've done wrong. So get your head out of your ass and pay attention, because I am not blaming or saying it's all one person's fault. I literally just said that I don't agree with certain things. But thanks for stopping by. That's the kind of shit I'm talking about right there. Right there. So, telling truth, if you'd like to come up here, I'll drop you a link and we can talk about it. You can ask me questions and I'll give you a direct answer. And just so you know, the like sector of criminal justice that I'm going into, I don't have to worry about blaming anybody, okay? Because I'll be working with people who lost their lives at the hands of other people. If you want to know what a death investigator does, they investigate any deaths that are considered unnatural. I don't have to try to solve the case and all that. I'm there strictly to look at and gather evidence off of a deceased body and the surrounding area. No, people on this side don't hate truth. What everyone's getting fed up with is the fact that the truth, more often than not, gets swept under the rug because nobody wants to hear that. They only want their opinion to be fact. Okay, let's just take a silly example. The Rottweiler thing. They're mutts. They can't be registered. Well, no, that's wrong. They can be registered. Okay, so that's truth. I have never said that anybody is completely innocent. I've never said it, whether I like the person I'm saying it to or not. I've said it to the Mean Girls. I've said it to people at the stand. I've said it everywhere. What, did you not just hear the part where I said that? No, like, under the circumstances, I don't think that Jimbo should have said that he had a picture of a minor child, because under these circumstances, I can see where that would have headed, and that's exactly where I did head. I still support what? It's not actions that I support, ma'am or sir. It's the person. It's the person that I went to personally and told them how I feel about things they had done in their past life, although it's none of my business. And since then, I have formed a good relationship with that person. We've all made mistakes in life. I'm sure you've made plenty in yours too. None of you have ever seen me mad. Am I aggravated right now? Yeah, I'm aggravated at the ignorance. I'm aggravated at the double standards. I'm aggravated that, I know that if I were having to deal with half the shit that some people on this platform are dealing with, that I probably would lose my damn mind. I don't go out here picking fights with everyone over shit that's said about other people. But I will come on here and talk about my opinion about things. I've always said this is my opinion. And even if you don't want to jump on the train and share the opinion with me, I will still be cool with you. I don't like echo chamber. And when I say that, I actually mean it. I like being able to have two-sided conversations and bounce opinions off each other. When you don't agree with someone, that opens the doorway for you to be able to expand your mind. Because I might have an opinion about something, but then after talking to someone who has a different opinion, they might be able to open my eyes to a different aspect of something, and they might be able to make me see things that I didn't see before that could very well alter my opinion. I'm not going to just walk around and blindly agree with everyone just because I want to be a part of something. My life is very full outside of YouTube. I have plenty to do and plenty to entertain me and keep me company and talk about without all this. That's probably why I don't go live that often. Right, Graham, that is how it should work. I prefer to have people in my life who can challenge my thinking. Yes, even in the Mean Girls chat, we have different opinions. Sometimes we get irritated with each other, but you know what? We get irritated, we talk it out, and we work through it. Or if we know it's an opinion and it looks like it's heading in a direction where it could cause conflict, we're not so stubborn that we can't just back off and maybe talk about something else. And maybe that's what it's time to do. But as far as like, who's the one that asked? Okay, when he made the comment, I'm assuming that you're talking about the Polaroid. Is that what you're talking about? Because if that's not what you're talking about, then you're going to have to like tell me specifically, because like I said, I'm not always there for everything. Everyone seems to think that just because I'm a mod, I'm there and I hear every word and I support every little move, and that's just not the case. They go live late at night. Doesn't want that was a dig to make points. The comeback was unexpected. And then excuses or reasons, because there's a fine line between excuses or reasons. Okay, because I hear a lot of people over on that side too say, yeah, I did this because, or I didn't do this because. So is that considered a reason or an excuse? I just want to be clear. I've never not one time said that there is zero hypocrisy on this side. I think everyone has been a hypocrite at some point, even if it's just about silly stuff. I mean, if you're thinking that you're going to come in here and catch me up and put me in my place and all of this and that, no, because I have got a very open mind. And before I form an opinion on anything, I have a tendency to look at every aspect, or as many aspects as I possibly can. I'm a pretty fair person. But I will say that when I popped in there the other day to make that comment, that when you combine the doxing with the harassment was pretty foul, I stand by that opinion. Everyone was looking to me to provide proof about the doxing, and I didn't even know anything about it until just right then, in that moment. See, Markella, that's something that I didn't hear for myself. I heard about it, but I didn't hear the comments myself. Um, yeah. I mean, if you, it all boils down to no, nobody should be talking about a 12-year-old's body parts, boy or girl. And let me just go ahead and say it one more time for everyone. No, I don't think that Jimbo should have made that comment about having the Polaroid. I understand why he did it, but I knew that it would backfire, and it did. You know, every day when we wake up, we get to choose how we're going to be that day, who we're going to be as a person, and how we're going to treat others. I wake up every day, and no matter how much someone has pissed me off, I make a conscious choice not to attack their real life. Why? Because none of that matters when it comes down to YouTube. Everyone running around and calling this guy all kinds of names and accusing him of all these heinous crimes, things that have affected his real life. It makes you happy because y'all feel like you have succeeded at something. But here's the thing, you guys are punishing him for a mistake he made as a 17-year-old. Not trying to catch anyone up, trying to say it's all old when you've seen on all sides. There's one always in the wrong that stays mad for peeps talking about the wrong done. Well, I mean, people are going to be mad, you know? It sucks to see one of your friends hurting or having things done to them. It sucks. It does. It's the nature of the beast. We all know that. when we come on here. But it's getting to the point now where, people really you have to watch what you say. You have to watch what you do. You have to make sure that what you do say or do is presented in a way that can't be twisted. Even if you're completely innocent of all wrongdoing. I got Tina Simmerly out there telling everybody that I'm part of some trafficking ring, and I've never even had a conversation with the bitch. I mean, at one point, way back when, all I knew is she didn't like me because I made a couple of videos making fun of Ernie. But now, all of a sudden, what does she call me? Oh, I'm part of the shady bunch and involved in trafficking, and I'm going down. I think she made a comment like that the other day in Mama T's chat. Are you kidding me? No, I don't think many people believe her too, but that's the kind of shit that's going on. I mean, if she's out here, if she is actually trying to pursue charges or do anything like that, obviously she's not going to get very far because she hasn't up to this point. But what if she did? What if she were able to get someone to listen long enough that the police did show up at my door? You got to think about the what ifs too. I always try to think about what the outcome could be before I make a move. But that's just how I am with anything. I'm an overthinker. I'm very analytical. And I've been in situations where I've made snap judgments and gotten stuff wrong and felt like a complete asshole about it. And so I try to avoid that now. But yes, telling truth too, it is very frustrating to come on and it's just the same old shit every day. So if you're not going to play in the sandbox together, why not just go find a new sandbox to play in? You don't have to talk to each other. You don't have to cover each other. You don't have to do anything. People were saying that Jimbo was nodding out last night. That he was just something was wrong. He wasn't right. Well, he said gummies for one, I think, or maybe they just joked about it. I was halfway listening, but let's also remember they just had all this stressful shit happen. He's been dealing with getting whatever's going on with Thelma taken care of. They still have children that they have to maintain and take care of and worry about. Molly had her band trip. I mean, he just lost his job. So I would imagine that all of that combined might get someone to the point of mental and physical exhaustion. That's just my guess, though. Who takes advantage of people? Surely that's not directed at me because I don't try to take advantage of anyone. Okay, let's go ahead and get into a little bit about the situation with Griff, okay? Because I'll use myself as an example now. Because honestly, I feel like talking about the situation with Jimbo, it's going to be talked about enough. So I'll put myself out there. Griff started his channel probably within a couple of weeks that I did. And when he first started, he was covering pretty much the same thing I was. When I first started mine, I kind of went after Benny Keys because of what he did to someone named Gulf Coast Girl, who is no longer on YouTube that I'm aware of. He did something pretty foul to her, and I got on and defended my friend. And then he came on, and I don't even know if he had had any interaction with Benny before he started his channel. But he didn't like him either, so he was attacking him. And at the time, no thanks, Doug was still around. And so they were Doug was trying to build this little team to go after Benny, right? And one thing I remember, I had to run to the grocery store one night and just pick something up quick. And Doug was live and Griff was on panel, and I was listening. And Doug was like, "Oh, let me drop a link and you can come up." Well, then Benny had gotten up there, and then Doug dropped the link, and I ended up sitting in the parking lot at the store for like 45 minutes, and we were just all yelling at each other. Well, not each other. We were yelling at Benny. And it was chaos. And I got along with Griff for a while. We weren't super tight. I wasn't always on his panel. He didn't ever come on mine. We just, kind of moved in the same circle. And we had a mutual opinion about Benny Keys. We hate bonded. And it was all smooth sailing. Griff didn't have a problem with me until there was a falling out with another person. She wasn't a creator, but she was in a Facebook group of another creator, and some pictures. Tina Simmerly actually posted the pictures of her grandchildren in the Facebook group, and it became a big issue because Tina had no right to go seek out those pictures and repost them in another group. And I understand why the person was pissed. Well, Griff got mad because this girl that I fell out with expected me, or she thought that I should jump in front of the train and take the hit, that I should yell and scream and throw a hissy fit and just defend this person whose grandkids' pictures was posted. And I get it. I get it. But it wasn't my battle to fight. I wasn't the owner of the Facebook group. They had already taken it to the owner of the Facebook group. He chose not to remove the pictures. I can't do anything about that. If they wanted to leave the group, then so be it. But I wasn't going to leave, just because they expected me to. Well, this chick got pissed at me. And then we were all in another Discord together, and then something happened there, and that was drama. And so Griff was really good friends with this person, and Griff started bitching me out. He went live one night. He didn't ever say my name. He was really cryptic when he was talking about it, but he was basically saying that I needed to be the bigger person and try to work it out. And I was the one in the wrong, which I didn't do anything. I chose not to react, was what my crime was. So then Griff didn't like me after that. I thought it was weird that he just all of a sudden wanted to jump into the middle of an issue between two women, when for me, it wasn't even an issue anymore. Like, I wasn't talking to the girl. We weren't on good terms, bad terms. We weren't on any terms. So we exchanged words. Griff went live, talked about me. I went live, talked about him. And then that was the end of it for me. Didn't talk for a while. Then one night he was live and I just popped in, and at that point, he had kind of mellowed out a little bit. And I spoke up in his chat, and, we were cordial, and I exchanged words with his wife, and we were friendly with each other. Well, then I'll be damned if I don't pop in Mama T's a few nights ago. And right as I clicked on, the first thing I hear is, "Well, Chasing Justice has been talking all kinds of shit about me." When? When have I talked shit about you? I might laugh at some comments in a chat, or I might make my own smart ass comment in a chat. But last I heard, you had talked shit about me again. And I never said anything about it really, other than the fact that you got it wrong. Because when you and Benny made up, he had told you all kinds of stuff about me and about my personal life, which he only had a small fraction of it to begin with, what I told him. And you decided that you were just going to let everyone know. And you got it wrong. And I told you got it wrong. You were basically taking what happened in my relationship and kind of laughing at it. And I can tell you, it is no laughing matter. And this was like a couple of years ago. So now, for you to say that I have been saying anything about you is just absurd. I don't even think about you, Griff. I don't. You don't cross my mind unless I happen to hear your voice. And that night I heard your voice bringing me up for no reason. So now, since you're telling me that I've been talking about you, yes, I'm going to talk about you and tell you that you're a complete asshole for even bringing that stuff up to begin with. And that, sir, makes you part of the problem. Oh, Tina's in here. Tina, if you want to come up and explain to me um, in what capacity I'm involved in a trafficking ring, that would be great. I mean, we can hash it out right now if you want. If you want to share some of this hardcore evidence you have. Because honestly, you don't know anything about me to say that I'm involved in a trafficking ring. And are you saying that just because I am part of the Mean Girls, or I hang out with people that you don't like? Yes, Chicky, I'm in the trafficking ring. I actually am the co-pilot in the freezer U-Hauls where we deliver the organs. So I'm on the organ harvesting side of things. I don't know what all that's about. A credible witness. So you're saying that you're a credible witness as far as like being witness to the fact that I'm part of a trafficking ring? Hmm. I have some pretty credible character witnesses. So I see your credibility and raise you two credible witnesses. See what I did there? My credible witnesses are also in law enforcement. Um, the sheriff throws a mean crawfish boil, and the chief of police has the cutest grandchildren that my daughter has babysat before. Probably shouldn't say that he has cute grandchildren, because sure as shit, someone is going to say, see, she said those kids are cute. There's 149 people in here listening to me babble. While y'all are here, hit the like button. And if anyone wants to give me $1, it's $ CJ0024. Christmas is coming. Tips are much appreciated. Speaking of money, why is it like I will say this one more thing about Jimbo. He's damned if he does and damned if he doesn't. Because if he tries to sell his personal belongings in order to raise money, he's wrong for that. But if he just asks for money, then he's wrong for that. So I don't understand, like, what would y'all like him to do? I think that if he wants to sell his personal stuff, so be it. That's on him. It's his stuff to sell, right? I would think that people would be like, cool, he's not just scamming or e-begging. He's willing to actually do what he can to come up with the money that he needs. Oh, there was a community post made. I don't know if it was last night or today, but that talked about the dogs. I didn't read it because it was super long, but I did read the part where they posted from the website like the amount that's owed, that the amount that Selma owes, and what the minimum payment due is. Let me just say that I have seen a screen recording of multiple payments already made, and that's why the dollar amount does not match up from what I'm understanding. Well, telling truth, my understanding, if I have like the chronological order correct, um, because I wasn't feeling good all weekend, so I might be a little off on the timing of things. But my understanding is the puppies were bought, or they were committed to buy them right when all this shitstorm unfolded. So I think that's what happened. Like the puppies had already been bought or paid for, and then all this shit happened to where he needed to raise money. But there again, and I've heard a lot of people that are over on that side say this in other situations involving other people, where they say, well, if you're not going to donate, or if you didn't donate, then it shouldn't matter what the person needs the money for, right? So maybe everyone could just take that approach. If they're not going to be donating any money to him, or have no interest in doing it, then I wouldn't even like take up any brain space worrying about it. And that's not me being a bitch. That's just me trying to give some helpful advice. That's how I handle it. Like if someone's blatantly scamming, like when Mama T pulled the whole fake Cash App receipts, she was obviously scamming. So yeah, I said something about that. But if I'm not quite sure what's going on, 9 times out of 10, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, and then it's between them and God after that. The trucks were still tore up before that. I mean, none of us really know like what his debt to income ratio was. There could have been a lot of other more pressing priorities that had to be taken care of. And let's be honest, when we're used to struggling, and then all of a sudden we have, a moment where we don't have to struggle because we've got a good bit of money. Okay, let's tax time, for example. Some people struggle all year long, and then tax refunds roll around. And so they splurge and they treat themselves. It happens all the time. It could be a situation like that. I don't really know. I don't know exactly to the penny how much he received in a settlement. I don't know what financial obligations he had that needed to be taken care of first. It's none of my business, honestly. And I'm sure that we've all been in a situation where we've had somebody and we didn't make the best financial decisions with it. And then something comes up, like, okay, let's just say one week you have a really good paycheck and you don't have any other bills due that week and you have an extra $1,500. And you're like, okay, well, I'm just going to go all out this weekend. I'm going to go buy myself a new outfit, going to go treat my friends to have fun. We're going to go on a little vacation or something. And then the next week, unexpectedly, your car breaks down and you're like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have spent all that money. It happens. Okay. Hang on, I'll give you a link and you can kind of explain the settlement. Shit, I don't remember how to do this. I'm gonna put it. No, I can't put it in the Mean Girls chat. It'll kick me. All right, this is only for Nicolina. And best friend Texas Kim, if you're still in here, I will have to look in a minute. If I check right now, it's gonna kick me. So I will check as soon as I get off here, and I'll let you know. And thank you, by the way, best friend.
Hey, best friend.
Hey, best friend.
Okay, so I wanted to explain this since you have an audience and we know a lot are hate watching. So, Jimbo was in a car accident, and Kentucky is an at fault state. That means it has to be adjudicated through a court if there is an injury or a claim.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the attorneys are hired on a contingency. And I'm speaking in a condescending tone for those that are not in our community.
Right.
So they automatically, on in Michigan, contingency is 33%. I don't know what Kentucky is. Excuse me. So any amount of money that is awarded in a lawsuit, 25%, 33% is automatically given to the attorney, plus court costs and fees. So then you got to add a plus to what is given to the attorney. Court costs are any filings, depositions, accident reconstruction, witness testimony that they have to pay for from any specialist. So you could actually be looking at 50% of whatever is awarded ends up going to the AKA ambulance chaser, the attorney. So Jimbo was already on disability for a multitude of spinal injuries where he was is collecting social security, and when you're on social security you are required to participate in Medicare, not Medicaid, Medicare, where you're paying a monthly amount for the
Right.
government subsidized shitty insurance, which there is Medicare type A, B, C, D, which covers hospital, drugs, doctors, and procedures. That's why there's four different parts. Instead of it being an all encumbering insurance like private commercial insurance, which covers everything. Medicare, you're paying for four parts to cover all aspects of care. So when this injury happened, it ended up requiring not just an ER visit, MRIs, probably CT scans, but he most definitely had insurance or surgery on his neck. Medicare paid for all of that. So, by the CMS federal rules, if you have Medicare that pays for an injury at work, before workman's comp kicks in, or an auto claim, or homeowner's claim, they get reimbursed. So it doesn't matter if his total settlement, let's say, was 250,000, 75,000 goes to the attorney for their just their representation plus court costs, fees, okay? Then you have to look at how much did he how much did Medicare pay for his surgeries, physical therapy, advanced imaging studies. All of that has to be reimbursed to CMS, which is the overseer of Medicare. I have receipts from Jimbo when he did receive his payout, and how after it was adjudicated and he was awarded a specified amount of money, they then had to work with the um providers and Medicare on, it's kind of like when you see your explanation of benefits where you have an adjusted amount. So you have what they're charging. If they're in network, they adjust it down to a lower amount. Jimbo had to pay that out of the amount awarded to him through this lawsuit. So you take that into consideration. After all of that is taken out of the award, you have X amount of money left. That X amount of money left is not taxable, but it's not the full amount that was awarded to you
Right.
after it was adjudicated. Now I know how much they received. I know what they've done with that money, but it's nowhere near what the award is and what he had to pay out. He was fucking trolling a lot of people. Oh yeah, I just got all this money. Well, he was just doing that because people watch him and they get pissed off. I do the same shit.
Yeah. And people cherry pick what they want to believe when it comes
Right.
out of his mouth, too. Like
Hmm.
if it paints him in a bad light, they'll jump all over it and believe that. But if it's something
Yes.
true, then no, he's automatically deemed a liar.
Yeah. And if you don't know Jimbo outside of YouTube, you don't understand. It is what it is, but he had enough to provide every single one of his four children with a vehicle and pay off some bills. And there wasn't much left over after that.
Yeah, and he didn't go out and buy brand new cars for his kids that
No,
they're
he did
born.
not.
That's where the problem comes in. That's where repairs need to come in and things like that. So that's what I'm saying. Unless you really know the whole situation,
Right. But I
it
wanted to explain it for the dummies that are watching because then
thank you.
they can't run with it and say, oh, well, he got X amount of money. Well, these people are stupid, just like just like Tina in chat. Tina, I have the live stream from April of 2022 on my channel that has not been deleted, where I was restreaming Ernie, and you put in the chat, here is the email for Dr. English at MSU College of Human Medicine. This is what we're emailing him, that Nicolina is a human trafficker, an organ harvester, and she steals the DNA from the pediatric patients to sell on the black market. Tina, I have all of that. Now, whether you are a schizophrenic or you are on some serious fucking drugs, I absolutely have that. And you guys absolutely sent those emails because that was discussed during my forced resignation. You either resign or we're terminating you meeting. I bet you could FOIA those since MSU is a public university.
I agree, Donna.
I'm just Well, no, but I understand that, Donna, but everybody runs with that and they start attacking him over it when
Yep.
they don't understand how it works. Now in Michigan, we're a no fault state, so it wouldn't matter if I would have been sideswiped and hurt. I have PIP insurance, which is covers me and anybody in my car, all of their medical expenses. I can't sue the other driver because I also have underinsured insurance as part of my coverage. So there's not, if anything, I have to sue my own insurance company. But in Michigan, you have to produce your commercial insurance or you're paying an extraordinarily high PIP coverage because in Michigan, it's unlimited medical coverage for your entire life if you are significantly injured in a car accident. Kentucky's not like Michigan. It is a at fault state. So they have to determine who's at fault, and then you have to sue the at fault driver's insurance company.
Yeah, my state's like that too.
Well, that's why we have like, we're in the top five for the highest in the country because we are no fault. It sucks. So that's all I wanted to come up and say. So
Okay.
y'all can suck it. And why don't you guys increase your IQ points and start learning shit instead of just assuming shit? All right, bye, bestie.
Bye, Dusty. I'm glad you brought that up, Sable, because I heard. Sorry, you guys, my throat is still a little scratchy. Um, the whole incident with the car being shot up. I think someone had said that Nicolina proved her own lie when she called the police department and said, well, his house would, or he just had a shooting at his house, and the cop said, no. Well, you have to take into consideration when a police officer hears a shooting happen, they're probably thinking where there was a victim, a person was shot, or it was some big thing. He probably wasn't the officer that went out on the call. So he may not have known anything about it right off the top of his head without actually pulling up a report or something. I mean, come on now. We saw the bullet holes, and I know everyone was trying to say, "Oh, they're fake bullet holes." Well, they looked real. I've seen bullet holes. They looked real to me. But there again, it's one of those things where nobody really knows. You know who knows what happened that night? Jimbo and his family, and the police that handled the situation, and whoever pulled the trigger. Those are the people that know what actually happened that night. And I know that everything I've said is probably not going to change anyone's mind. It's not going to make anyone sit back and think, maybe Chasing's not so stupid. Maybe she does know a little something. Or maybe I'm going to try it her way and just, stop. Just stop. I guarantee you that you'll find more peace in your own life, and Jimbo will get a little peace in his. His children will get a little peace in theirs. You got to stop and think. It's not just Jimbo and Thelma that you guys are stressing out with all this crap. And I know that the first thing to do is to criticize them as parents and say, well, they shouldn't do this. Well, okay, everyone can only be accountable for their own actions. But as far as like where we started this whole conversation, the striking, my opinion on striking, if YouTube is not your full time career and someone clips your stuff, let's even say that they don't even like alter it in any way, they just literally clip a portion of your content and just replay it, it's really not that big a deal. Now, if they're doing it continuously, yeah, file a strike if you want to as like a warning shot. But to do it and to tell your whole chat to go do it, it's silly to me. Because if the person is clipping you and putting your content out and reaching viewers that you didn't have before and you're gaining subs for it, so be it. But just not long ago, everyone liked Elle Kennedy. They wanted her to clip stuff. But now, if she's clipping stuff that might not make them look like the best people, then they're pissed off. And now it's just a game, really. I mean, they flat out said that they want to take her channel away. I just don't think it's cool. And terms of service does, in fact, say that if you receive a strike, for the person who receives the strike to try to contact and reach out to the creator by email to see if there can be an agreement reached. It does not say that the person who's filing the strike needs to go through other avenues to seek out someone's contact information and call them continuously. And I think the way it was presented was that he called once, she didn't answer, she called him back, he didn't answer, so then he called her. Yes, that did happen, but that's not the only calls that happened. There were many more, and there were text messages too. The situation I just spoke about where he called her and she didn't answer, she didn't mean to call him back. That was an accident. And so as soon as she realized she dialed his number, she hung up. And then he called her back. So yes, that is in fact true. But all the other calls is where the problem comes in. It's just, I don't know. It's just weird, honestly. Yeah, she accidentally called recording the voice chat. So seeking out her number and all of that, that's not what terms of service says. Just to clear that up. Hang on, Kels, let me get you a link. Okay, this is for Kels. Oh, Chicky, you never gave him your number and he called you? Wow. I don't give many people my number either. I mean, I don't know. And maybe I'm naive. Maybe I'm stupid for expecting people to treat me the way that I treat them. But I generally try to be fair to people. I don't get involved in people's personal lives. I don't interfere with that. Do I hang out and associate with people that do or have done it in the past? Absolutely. But then again, so do all of you. Hey, Kels.
Hey, well, I just found out something about myself I didn't know.
What's that,
Tina
my
thinks,
lib?
yeah, Tina, if you go to the Liberator's channel, clearly you can hear me talking and you can hear Ma in the back. Ma Liberator. I am not Paul's wife. Your boy Ernie doxed me, okay? My name is Kelly Davis. I live in Tennessee. If you need to know that, bitch, I'm not too far from you, okay? So let's get that first and foremost, Tina. So don't be coming out here slinging shit you don't know nothing about.
you know,
So go see Gypsy Soul. She's got my pictures too.
I remember a while ago, it was probably a little over a year ago, Tina is also the one responsible for getting it wrong. She tried to identify Tiffany Marie, and she identified her as some like strung out chick who had gotten in trouble for carrying like a bunch of meth in her prison purse into the jail. And it became a whole big thing. Like Tiffany Marie had to get on Ernie's panel, and Ernie was like, "Pull back your hair, move that hair, and let's see that jawline." And I was like, "Oh, this cannot be happening." But yeah, she misidentified her too. And then at one point, someone had thought that they figured. I think it was probably Tina and Ernie thought they had figured out who I was, and that was wrong too. So, you know, whatever. It is what it is. I'm whoever.
They're telling me to get her ass and don't take no for an answer. I mean, like I said, Tina, there's like 5 or 6 Kelly Davises in this area, but if you want me to come see you, I have no problem, honey, because like I said, I'm not far from you at all. At all. And no, I've not known Jimbo for no 30 some years, so try again on that one too. Even your super soldier had that part wrong. He thought he knew me for like 20, but I choked him up on that one. I mean, oh my God, who are you? And who's she supposed to be a freaking witness for anyway?
I don't know. I guess
She,
to testify against all of us who were involved in this trafficking ring. I can tell you this. I'm just going to say it. My 11-year-old is enough to drive me bananas. I'm not trying to go out here and round up a bunch of other kids that I got to be responsible for taking on road trips across the United States. It's just not happening. And
right.
how you gather that someone is involved in all this stuff simply because you don't like them on YouTube is beyond me. But that seems to be like the new trend, everyone's getting accused of stuff like that. And sadly, it takes place out in the world more often than any of us know. And that's
Nicolina. Yeah,
sad.
that's what, right. Yeah, Nicolina. Tina thinks I'm all liberator. Yeah. But if I did get married on who I
Stop
really am,
it.
I mean, what did she do? Run off?
Who, me? Can you not hear me?
No,
Oh.
Tina. I don't see her in,
I
you know,
think
the
I think she
horror,
left there a little
horistic.
while ago, or she pretended she was leaving. I heard her say, "Have a good day."
Uh,
That's right,
well, I
Tiny
hope she
T.
stayed long enough to hear my voice, and clearly she can go to the Lives panel. And I was up there about a week ago, and you can hear his wife in the background on his end. So again, try again, Tina. You stupid, ignorant bitch. But not many of us believe you anyway because you convinced a man that he had a damn brain shit and he was a super soldier and he wasn't nothing but a blooming idiot.
That
Pink brows
he's
and stuff.
like a novelty item that I hated to see pulled off the shelf. Like because he was entertaining. I mean, he's a criminal. Don't get me wrong. He's right where he needs to be. If for no other reason, for him to get his mind right and figure his shit out. But I mean, we all used to think that the crap with Ernie was stressful. This crap is just, it's insanity. I mean, every day it's just the same old thing. And you know what? The result never changes.
I'm going to have to drop down and come back up. My earbuds just went dead. And
Oh,
so I
okay.
can't hear you. If you can hear me, I'll be right back.
All right. I agree, Tiny T. It is more fun chatting and getting along. Sadly, like Chicky just said with Nick, you can be cordial and, make amends, but some stuff just can't be forgotten. And I think that's true with a lot of things. There's a lot of things that people just can't forget. And that's understandable. But it just goes back to like what I said, you don't have to interact with anyone. I listen to people's lives all the time and never say a word in the chat. So it can be done. It is possible.
And KJ3, I might just make this my content because it's a hell of a lot better than talking about Gypsy all the damn time because she's just as delusional as Tina the Tooth. Okay, so if I want to make it my content for months, I sure will.
Yeah. I don't even understand like the whole situation of like what happened with all that. I just all of a sudden one day she was pissed off at everyone. I don't know. And she does. She'll cycle back around and she'll be cool with everyone.
Or you're saying that Tina will repeat it for 3 years, KJ3. Maybe I took your comment wrong, but because I just seen it right before I dropped down a minute ago.
See, and that's what I don't understand. Tina's not like really involved in any of this anymore, right? Like she's not really on YouTube that much anymore. I mean, I don't pay attention to Griff, so I don't know if she hangs out there all the time. I'm still waiting on all this
She hangs out with
bombshell information that she was going to release about Ernie.
she hangs out with right. She hangs out with him. She hangs out with Mama T. So not really credible ones for getting facts straight. So
Yeah.
and she can even ask Mama T. Mama T knows I'm not my liberator. Hello, do some
Well,
more
I
research.
don't think that you sound anything alike. Honestly.
No, no, I have the raspy voice. Ma does not. Hey, Texas Scam.
Uh-oh. Some scissoring going on.
Oh, okay, KJ3. Well, and I'm here for it. She is
Yes.
okay, Amber.
Welcome, Chickie.
I ain't talked to her this morning, but I talked to her yesterday evening.
See, Chickie, I'm the same way. I like going everywhere because I'm also the kind of person that I have to hear something for myself. That's how my brain processes it the best. Because, and it's not that I think anyone's intentionally lying to me when they're telling me how something happened or that they're just an idiot and they're not getting it right. It's that when we hear things, two people can be listening to the same exact thing, but both of them are probably going to comprehend it or, you know, they're going to hear something different. So I take it all in. I will listen to what people tell me. Then I kind of always want to go back and listen to something for myself to make sure I heard everything, I got it correctly. So that way, if I get something wrong, it falls on me and not anyone else. Because I try not to be that person that when someone says I'm wrong about something, I don't want to be that person that just automatically says, well, that's what so and so told me. If I have the ability to go listen to something or read something or watch something for myself, I always try to do that. And in order to do that, you kind of have to go everywhere. I will go give someone a view if I'm looking for something. Yeah, has anyone heard anything about Tara? Is she okay? Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Oh, sorry, I was muted.
Oh.
I said I talked to her yesterday evening. I've not talked to her today, and I told Caitlin yesterday when I talked to her to let y'all know in the Mean Girls chat that she was okay. Not like I said, I ain't talked to her today though, but I'm gonna jump down. I just wanted to come up and get my congratulations for getting married to somebody. I can't wait to tell my husband when he comes home from work that
Yay!
that I got remarried to a couple. Um, But thanks for letting me up, and thanks for coming up on my
Oh,
panel yesterday. It was
you're
good having you on my
welcome.
panel.
All right. See you later.
Bye, honey.
Bye. All right. So we had a YouTube wedding and didn't even know it. What the hell? Shows what kind of best friend she is, huh? She didn't even invite me to the wedding. I don't know. I really don't think I have anything else, you guys. I think I've babbled for quite some time. Wow, there's a lot of people in here. Yay. I like it when we can have this many people in here and not really have any major problems. I like when everyone can adult and be respectful. I mean, you can speak your mind and get your point across without always having to be an asshole. I mean, I know one thing about myself, and that's that I can be an asshole. I'm a smartass. I make jokes. I'll laugh at inappropriate things. I'll laugh at inappropriate times. Um, yeah. But as far as like going after someone in their real life and all that, that's not going to be something I do. The entire time I've been on YouTube, I have never doxed not one single person, in public or private. I've never shared anything that someone has told me in confidence, even when it comes to like proof. Okay, when I said earlier that I had seen a screen recording of all of the payments made to the court, I'm sure everyone is going to say, well, post the proof, or it didn't happen. Or if you don't post it right now, that means you're making it up. Well, you know what? It's not mine to post. I'll never post anything like that without permission. If Jimbo wants to post it, he can. If he gives me permission to go ahead and post it, I will on his behalf. Oh, thank you, best friend. Chicky, I'm the same way. I have to, there's things I need to work on too. I'm not perfect. I know that I've been dubbed the know it all who thinks she's perfect. No, that couldn't be further from the truth. I don't know it all. I want to learn it all. I try to know as much as I can about things, and I'll never reach the point of perfection. So there's that. But I'm gonna make sure I didn't miss anything. Well, I guess I don't need to go live about Griff and Tina because since she popped in here, I offered for her to come up here and she didn't want to do it. And I really had all I had to say about Griff unless he runs his mouth about me again. Then touche, buddy, touche. All right. I will let everyone go. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Um, Dana, they don't care that he was a minor. See, here's the rationalization. At 17, he was considered, damn near an adult in their eyes. But when Casey was a runaway at 17, then she was just a baby and, it was an issue. So it's just another double standard. But yes, good point. It was 34 years ago, and he was a 17-year-old child whose parents still had to sign for that marriage. So the responsibility falls on the parents first and foremost. And making fun, saying, would you want to hook up with that guy? Blah, blah. Well, that's just rude because, and I'm not trying to say this about Jimbo. I'm just speaking generally. If it was any 17-year-old boy, maybe they just wanted to be loved. They wanted that family unit at that time. You know, I don't really know how to explain it. But yeah, the judge had to approve it too. Just because the parents give permission doesn't mean that the judge is going to automatically say yes. The judge can deny it. And let's just be honest, back in those times, it's probably more common than any of us know. My great grandmother got married very, very young. She was 13. And there may or may not be more to the story about the marriage. I know the one thing is they're just insistent that there has to be a child somewhere. Well, if you go back and you look at the marriage laws, make sure you cross-reference everything because there was a change in those marriage laws. I don't remember exactly when it was. But at one time, yes, there had to be a pregnancy, but then it was changed or something. I don't know. And I get it telling truth, like I've already said that I didn't agree with it, but I can't go back and change it. He can't go back and change it. Nobody can go back and change it. It happened. He's been happily married all these years. He's not out here chasing children. I mean, it's just enough. It's very easy to just not care and not talk about it. You don't have to be a part of the constant bashing and conversation about it. And that's just my opinion. That's how I choose to handle it. Yep. I agree, Beth. I agree. So, if anyone would like to, I don't even want to say donate. If you guys want to tip me for babbling in your ear all this time, my Cash App is at the top of the screen. And I appreciate every penny. I appreciate all of you for being here. And we're going to get back into the fitness thing. I can't do it this week, but we'll shoot for next week. We're going to talk about GLP-1 and its importance and some natural things you can do without having to worry about taking a supplement. So everyone, I don't know if a mod can drop the link for my other channel real quick before we go, that would be amazing. And to let everyone know, I passed my goal. My goal weight I had set, I passed it. So I'm well over that now. Now I'm just in a cut working on toning everything. I'm so addicted to working out, you guys. Thank you. Thank you. It's tough. They always tell you that it's hard to take off weight, but real easy to put it on. And that is so freaking true. Because, like, I slacked off for a few days. Like, when best friend came to town, like, I didn't eat very healthy that weekend and for the few days leading up to that. And I gained a few pounds back, and I could tell immediately that it was like I could almost feel it coming on. But it didn't take me long to get back off either. So, all right. Well, everyone have an amazing evening. Be nice. Be kind to each other. Remember that life is short. Hug your loved ones because you never know if tomorrow is going to come. And I will see all of you out there. Be safe. Bye, bitches.